If you're over 60, this might be one of the most important health tips you hear this year. Picture this, you're 80 years old and still heading out for a morning walk, while others your age struggle just to get out of a chair. What makes the difference? It could come down to what's in your morning cup. Here's something nobody tells you about aging and morning habits. A landmark 2025 study found that seniors who skipped a certain daily drink were almost 40% more likely to become frail by their late 70s. In contrast, those who enjoyed this drink every day stayed stronger and more independent. Shocking, right? But it gets even more intriguing. Japanese scientists discovered something remarkable about their most active 80 and 90-year-olds. People who remained energetic at 85 all had one thing in common. They all started their morning with the same simple Japanese longevity drink. When researchers at Tokyo's National Geriatric Center introduced this morning drink to a group of tired, sedentary seniors, the results were astounding. Within 8 weeks, 7 in 10 reported higher energy and improved balance, doing activities they hadn't in years. No expensive supplements, no complicated routines, just one daily drink. The most powerful ingredient in this drink, which I'll reveal as benefit number 1, even showed up to a 15% reduction in mortality risk in large studies. Scientists were so stunned by the effect of this drink's nutrients on cellular aging that they repeated their experiments multiple times, thinking it must be a mistake. It wasn't. When you see the science behind this one morning ritual, you'll understand why most multivitamins or trendy diets fail to keep people over 60 truly active. And let's be clear, this isn't just about a drink, it's about whether you'll be traveling with your grandkids at 85 or feeling old and housebound by 75. Before we dive into these life-changing benefits, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, how old are you, and what's the one thing you drink every morning? Coffee, tea, water, or something else? I read and respond to as many comments as possible, because your stories might inspire thousands of others to realize they're not alone. So drop a comment below. I'm genuinely curious about your morning routine. Now, without any further ado, let's jump straight into 5 major benefits of this Japanese longevity drink. Benefits that can have you feeling youthful and active well into your age. And make sure to stick around for benefit number 1, where we reveal the drink and how it might literally add years to your life. Let's start with the most immediate benefit. A morning energizer that hydrates you and boosts your energy without the jitters. Many seniors roll out of bed feeling stiff and sluggish. Often, the go-to is a cup of coffee and maybe skipping breakfast, which can lead to energy spikes and crashes. Here's the problem. Overnight, our bodies get dehydrated, and dehydration can make you feel weak and fatigued. Coffee might wake you up, but it's also a diuretic and can dehydrate you further, not to mention sometimes causing the caffeine jitters or an upset stomach. Now, imagine swapping or supplementing your coffee with a traditional Japanese morning drink, a cup of warm green tea. Yes, we're starting to unveil the secret. Green tea is mostly water, so it rehydrates you first thing, and it contains a modest dose of caffeine for alertness. But unlike coffee, green tea's caffeine comes with a special companion, an amino acid called L-theanine. What's the big deal? L-theanine has a calming effect that smooths out the caffeine rush. The result is steady, focused energy without the jittery side effects. You get to feel awake and mentally sharp, but also centered. One nutritionist notes that the combination of caffeine and L-theanine in Japanese matcha, powdered green tea, enables sustained energy without the jitters. That means no mid-morning crash and no nervous shaking. Just pure, clean energy to start your day. Beyond caffeine, a warm cup of this tea in the morning can kickstart your metabolism gently. It raises your core temperature a bit and gets your digestive system ready for the day. Plus, you're doing your joints a favor by rehydrating. Many seniors feel morning joint stiffness partly because they're dried out after sleep. By drinking hydrating green tea, you're essentially oiling your body's creaky hinges first thing in the morning. Here's how to do it right. Upon waking, brew a fresh cup of green tea or matcha, which I'll talk about later. Use water that's hot, but not boiling, around 80 water or 7 to 6 to avoid burning the tea and preserve its nutrients. Let it steep for a minute or two if it's a tea bag, or whisk your matcha powder until it's frothy. Drink it warm and unsweetened if you can. If you really need sweetness, use a tiny bit of honey. Centenarians in Okinawa do enjoy a little honey with their tea on occasion, but never heaps of sugar. By keeping it unsweetened, you avoid a blood sugar spike and keep the drink very low in calories. As you sip, you'll not only enjoy a moment of calm, perhaps use it as a mindful ritual to start your day, but you'll also feel your body waking up. Within 20 minutes, the gentle caffeine boost kicks in, and you're alert, but without that heart-pounding feeling coffee sometimes gives. Many people report that switching from coffee to green tea for their first drink made them feel more hydrated and even-minded in the mornings. Give it a try for a week and see if you notice the difference in your energy level. Pro tip: if you're worried about caffeine at all, note that green tea has much less caffeine than coffee, about 1/4 the amount per cup, and the L-theanine really takes the edge off. You can also choose a high-quality Japanese matcha, which tends to have slightly more caffeine, but also more L-theanine, providing a smooth boost. And if you're extremely caffeine sensitive, there are decaffeinated green teas. They won't give as much instant energy, but you'll still get many of the other benefits we're about to discuss. The key for Benefit N5 is that starting your day with this hydrating, energizing tea sets you up for an active morning, instead of a groggy, stiff one. Transition: now that you're hydrated and alert, let's move on to something deeper this drink does for you. The next benefit might surprise you. It's about strengthening something inside you that most people don't even think about until it's gone. It's a benefit that literally goes bone deep. Ready to hear it? Number 4. Bone strength in a cup. Stronger bones and joints. This benefit addresses a hidden culprit behind many age-related struggles: weakening bones and creaky joints. One big fear as we age is osteoporosis, brittle bones that can lead to fractures, and joints that ache with every movement. By 60 or 70, many folks worry about falls or avoid activities because their knees, hips, or back feel fragile. But what if your morning drink could help fortify your skeleton? It sounds almost too good to be true, but science shows it's real. Green tea is like a bone guardian in disguise. A comprehensive study in Taiwan found that older adults who were habitual tea drinkers for 10 or more years had significantly higher bone density in their spines and hips than those who didn't drink tea. In other words, their bones were stronger and less porous, similar to people much younger. Another study of over 1,000 elderly women in Britain showed the same trend. Those who drank tea had better bone mineral density measurements than non-tea drinkers. Nutrients in tea, especially flavonoids, appear to help stimulate bone-building cells or slow the breakdown of bone. Researchers believe these antioxidants reduce inflammation that can otherwise weaken bones over time. What an even more striking example: Okinawa, the Japanese island famed for its centenarians, has half the risk of hip fractures compared to North America. You heard that right. An 80 or 90-year-old in Okinawa is only half as likely to break a hip as an 80 or 90-year-old in the US. One of the reasons researchers believe is their diet and lifestyle, which includes drinking green tea daily, along with plenty of calcium-rich vegetables and sunlight. Their bones stay denser and more resilient. In fact, the Okinawa centenarian study found that these elders have stronger bones with far fewer fractures. And remember, strong bones mean you can stay active without fear, climbing stairs, walking outside, even dancing, because you have a solid foundation. Now, how do you get this bone-strengthening effect? It's not instantaneous. You can't just drink 1 cup and instantly thicken your bones. It's about consistent habit. Aim to drink at least 1 to 3 cups of green tea daily to give your body a steady supply of those flavonoids and beneficial compounds. Green tea contains small amounts of minerals like fluoride, which can incorporate into bones and teeth, and its polyphenols have been shown to boost osteoblast activity, the cells that build bone. Over months and years, this can translate into real difference. For example, in one study, postmenopausal women who regularly drank green tea had better bone health than those who didn't, even after accounting for factors like diet and exercise. It's like investing a little bit every day into a bone health savings account. By your 80s, you've built up much stronger bones. How to maximize this benefit? First, don't add milk or creamer to your tea. This isn't a common practice with Japanese green tea. They usually drink it plain, and there's a reason. Dairy can bind to some of the catechins in tea and reduce their effectiveness. Some studies on black tea showed that adding milk reduced the tea's antioxidant activity significantly. So it's best to take your green tea straight or with lemon honey if needed, but skip the milk. Secondly, consider adding a squeeze of lemon or some vitamin C-rich juice to your tea if you brew it normally. Vitamin C can enhance the absorption of catechins in your gut, making them even more available to your body. Ever wonder why some people put a slice of lemon in tea? It's not just for flavor. Also, timing can help. Having a cup of green tea with or right after a meal that contains calcium, like a breakfast of yogurt or fortified cereal, can be beneficial. There's some evidence that green tea's compounds, together with calcium and vitamin D, have a synergistic effect on bone health. In Japan, many older adults will have miso soup, rich in calcium and magnesium, and green tea together at breakfast, a powerful combination for bones. Miso, a fermented soybean paste, is another Japanese longevity staple, rich in isoflavones, that also support bones, and washing it down with green tea is like a 1-2 punch against osteoporosis. Lastly, keep in mind that staying active, even lightweight bearing exercise, like walking or Tai Chi, plus your daily tea is the ultimate recipe for strong bones. Tea provides the nutrients and lowers inflammation, and movement tells your body to keep bones dense. Together, they help you maintain the kind of skeletal strength that makes 80 just a number, not a disability. Transition, your bones are covered, literally strengthened from within by this daily habit. But what about the Jun-1 thread to longevity and activity, heart health? Coming up next, we'll see how this drink is doing wonders for your heart and arteries, earning its place as a true inflammation fighter. And I'll share a study that shows how this simple morning ritual can help slash your risk of heart disease. Stay tuned. Number 3. The Heart Healthy Inflammation Fighter. Now let's talk about your heart and blood vessels, the lifeline of your body. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in many countries, and as we get older, our arteries can stiffen and clog, leading to high blood pressure, heart attacks, or strokes. But guess what? Our Japanese longevity drink is a powerful ally for your cardiovascular system. In fact, people who drink it daily have significantly lower rates of heart disease and stroke. It's not magic, it's science. Green tea is loaded with antioxidants called catechins, especially one superstar compound abbreviated as EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. EGCG and its friends in green tea have a potent anti-inflammatory and cholesterol-lowering effect. How potent? Consider a large pooled analysis of studies in Japan. Men and women who drank 5 or more cups of green tea per day had a much lower risk of dying from heart disease or stroke than those who drank less than 1 cup. To put it in perspective, in that analysis, the highest tea drinkers, 5+ cups a day, had about 18 to 25% lower risk of heart disease death and similar reduction in stroke risk, especially among women. That's a huge drop for a simple diet habit. It's one reason why Okinawans nurse green tea all day long. And indeed, green tea has been shown to lower the risk of heart disease and even certain cancers. What's happening under the hood? Chronic inflammation and oxidative stress are major drivers of heart problems. Over years, they damage blood vessel walls, leading to plaques and blockages. Green tea's antioxidants directly combat this. They scavenge harmful free radicals in your bloodstream, protecting your artery walls from damage. Studies also show green tea can improve the function of the endothelium. That's the lining of your blood vessels, which helps them relax and regulate blood flow. By improving endothelial function, green tea helps keep your arteries flexible and your blood pressure in check. Some research even found that green tea consumption is associated with lower blood pressure and better cholesterol profiles. One clinical study noted that people who took green tea extract had significant drops in LDL bad cholesterol, and population research, like the Japan study above, saw fewer heart attacks among regular tea drinkers. There's also an indirect way this drink helps your heart: weight management. Green tea has a mild metabolism boosting effect, helping your body burn a bit more. It's no weight loss pill, but over the long term, drinking green tea instead of sugary drinks or heavy cream-laden coffee can help you maintain a healthier weight. Each cup is only 2 calories and it subtly increases fat oxidation. A healthier weight means less strain on your heart and lower risk of diabetes. All good news for healthy aging. Now, how can you harness these heart benefits? The dose matters. Most studies showing big heart benefits involve multiple cups a day. The Japanese study suggested around 5 cups daily for maximum effect. But don't be intimidated, even 2 to 3 cups a day confers plenty of benefit. You can space them out, 1 in the morning, like we talked about, 1 after lunch, maybe 1 in the afternoon. In Japan, it's typical to have green tea with meals or as an afternoon break. By doing this, you're maintaining a steady level of catechins in your system throughout the day, constantly fighting inflammation. Also, try matcha green tea for a concentrated boost. Remember, matcha is powdered green tea leaves. When you drink it, you consume the whole leaf in pulverized form, which means higher antioxidant content than a regular tea bag. Some estimates claim that 1 cup of matcha can give you the polyphenols of several cups of brewed tea. So, you could drink, say, 2 cups of regular green tea and 1 cup of matcha, and you'd be well above the typical 5-cup antioxidant intake, but with only 3 drinks. Matcha's EGCG levels are through the roof, which is fantastic for your heart and overall anti-age. Just be mindful that matcha can have more caffeine, roughly the equivalent of maybe 2 cups of regular tea, so gauge your tolerance, especially later in the day. One more tip: avoid adding sugar to your tea, especially if heart health is the goal. The Blue Zones, those longevity hotspots guidelines, note that people there typically don't dump spoonfuls of sugar in their beverages. Excess sugar can raise inflammation and triglycerides, counteracting the good you're doing. If you need to sweeten, try a small amount of honey or stevia. But many people find high-quality green tea has a pleasant earthy flavor on its own, especially once your palate adjusts from sugary drinks. You can also brew it with a flavorful addition like a stick of cinnamon or a slice of ginger for a natural sweetness spice. By making this Japanese drink a daily habit, you're basically giving your heart and arteries a daily tune-up. Think of it like gently clearing the rust and sludge out of your body's piping every day, so blood flows free. Over years, that can be the difference between having the endurance to bike around the block at 80 versus getting winded just walking to the mailbox. It's that powerful transition. We've covered body energy, bones, and heart, all physical aspects. Now, it's time for benefit number 2, which might be my personal favorite. It's about your brain. Yes, this drink even has something to offer your mind and memory. If you worry about staying sharp into your 70s and 80s, you'll want to hear this next part, because the research is truly exciting. Number 2, brain booster and memory protector. One of the scariest aspects of aging for many people isn't just the physical aches, but the concern that our mind might not stay as sharp. Forgetting names, misplacing keys, or worse, the specter of dementia or Alzheimer's. But here's some wonderful news. The same Japanese morning drink we're discussing has major brain benefits. It can help keep your mind clear, sharp, and even emotionally balanced as you age. Let's dive into the science first, because it's honestly fascinating. Numerous studies suggest that regular green tea drinkers have significantly lower risk of cognitive decline and dementia. How much lower? Try 33 to 47% lower risk of developing cognitive impairment or dementia, according to multiple observational studies and meta-analyses. That's almost half the risk, which is incredible. One large review updated in 2025 looked at a bunch of studies and found that seniors who consumed the most green tea had a much higher likelihood of maintaining good cognitive function. In Japan, a prospective study found that those who drank green tea at least 3 times a week were far less likely to develop dementia over the years than those who rarely drank it. In fact, greater green tea consumption is consistently associated with better memory and executive function in older adults. Green tea's brain benefits come from a few angles. First, we already talked about caffeine tea, L-theanine, and green tea for focused energy. This combo doesn't just energize, it actually improves your attention and alertness in the moment. If you drink green tea and then do a mentally challenging task, like a crossword, reading, or even driving, people often perform better than with a placebo or even just caffeine alone. The L-theanine increases alpha brainwaves, which induce a relaxed but attentive mental state. Many people describe it as calm focus or a zen-like alertness. So, for daily functioning, that means you're more present and less likely to have those senior moments of mental fog when you've had your green tea. Oxidative damage and inflammation in the brain are thought to contribute to neurodegenerative diseases. EGCG, that all-star catechin, can cross the blood-brain barrier and has been shown in lab studies to reduce brain inflammation and even help prevent the buildup of beta-amyloid plaques, the stuff that accumulates in Alzheimer's disease. There's also evidence that green tea might increase the activity of detoxifying enzymes in the brain and support the growth of new neurons through a process called neurogenesis. It sounds futuristic, but compounds in green tea are being actively studied as cognitive protectors. One study in Japan found that older adults who drank 2 or more cups of green tea daily had significantly fewer memory problems compared to those who drank less. And in imaging studies, MRI scans showed that green tea drinkers tended to have less degeneration in certain brain regions. There's even a cool study where they gave people a green tea extra drink and did MRI scans. They saw increased connectivity in parts of the brain involved in working memory. Essentially, their brains were firing more efficiently on the green tea. Beyond memory and thinking, green tea can also uplift your mood and reduce stress. L-theanine increases dopamine and serotonin feel-good neurotransmitters and has a subtle anti-anxiety effect. That's why monks in Japan have sipped matcha tea for centuries. It helps with meditation by keeping the mind clear but calm. If you ever feel low or a bit anxious, a cup of green tea might take the edge off and brighten your mood gently. In fact, a study from 2020 found that older adults who drank more green tea were less likely to feel depressive symptoms, possibly because of these neurochemical effects and the social aspect of tea time. So how do you leverage this brain-boosting power in daily life? Make green tea your go-to beverage when you need to concentrate. For example, have a cup in the late morning while doing a puzzle, reading, or any hobby that engages your mind. You'll likely find you can focus longer and enjoy the task more. If you have a routine of reading the news or a book in the afternoon, try pairing it with tea instead of something like soda or just water. You might notice you absorb the information better. Also, consider switching your afternoon coffee to green tea. Many people over 60 start having sleep issues, and caffeine late in the day can worsen that. Green tea has less caffeine and the theanine, so it's less likely to disturb your sleep, yet it still wards off that 3 p.m. mental. A cup of tea at that hour can refresh your mind just enough to carry you through the evening, and as a bonus, you're loading up on those brain-protective catechins. For an extra brain boost, you could try matcha in the morning and regular green tea in the afternoon. Matcha, being more potent, can give you a stronger kick when you need it, like to clear morning grogginess or before a social event where you want to be mentally sharp. Then the lighter brewed tea later keeps a steady flow without interfering with bedtime. In a Japanese town famous for its tea and long-lived residents, many older folks actually do exactly this: a bowl of matcha with breakfast, then mild sencha, green tea, throughout the day. Lastly, make it enjoyable. Maybe invite a friend to have tea with you and chat. Social interaction itself is great for the brain. In Okinawa, older women have a daily ritual of meeting in the afternoon to talk, laugh, drink green tea, and maybe nibble a little sweet potato or dessert. It's nicknamed the Moai social group. They bond over tea, which not only gives them the cognitive benefits of the drink, but also the mental stimulation and joy of friendship. It's no wonder they stay mentally sharp and happy. They've built tea into both a health practice and a social pleasure. Transition, we've arrived at the moment you've been waiting for. It's time for benefit number 1, the capstone of why this Japanese longevity drink is so revered. We've hinted at it all along. This is about longevity itself, how this simple habit can help add years to your life and life to your years. Get ready for some eye-opening facts about living longer, and I'll finally reveal the exact drink and how to use it for maximum benefit. Number 1. Your daily longevity elixir. Stay active longer and live longer. Here it is, the D1 benefit of drinking Japanese green tea. Yes, let's officially name it now. It's not just about avoiding illness, it's about thriving in old age. This daily drink is a true longevity elixir. It can help you stay active after 80, 90, even 100, and there are entire populations in Japan that prove it. Let's talk longevity statistics for a second. Japan consistently ranks D1 in life expectancy worldwide. They have over 90,000 centenarians, people 100 years old, as of 2025, a record high. Okinawa, one of the blue zones, famously has one Japanese person in every 1,450 aged over 100. What are these folks doing every day? One of their daily rituals is drinking green tea, often several times a day. This is not a coincidence. A pooled analysis of 8 large cohort studies in Japan, totaling over 300,000 people, found that those who drank the most green tea had significantly lower risk of dying from any cause during the study's follow-up periods. Specifically, drinking 5+ cups of green tea a day was associated with a 15% lower risk of all-cause mortality for men, and an even more impressive 18% lower risk for women, compared to those who drank less than 1 cup. In other words, green tea drinkers were living longer. They were especially less likely to die from cardiovascular causes, as we discussed, and even saw reductions in risk of respiratory disease and infections. Fewer deaths from flu or pneumonia in tea drinkers, possibly because catechins have antimicrobial properties that boost the immune system. But living longer is only part of the story. Living better is the real goal. And here, green tea shines too. We've already seen how it keeps your heart, bones, and brain healthier. When Japanese researchers measure something called health span, the number of years you remain healthy and active. They find that tea drinkers often have a longer health span, not just lifespan. For example, a 2022 study in China, which has a similar tea culture, found daily tea consumption was linked to lower rates of frailty and disability in older adults. Daily tea drinkers were more likely to be independent in their 80s, while non-drinkers had higher odds of being frail. We can reasonably extrapolate this to Japanese green tea habits too. In essence, by fighting the major age-related issues, bone loss, muscle loss, cognitive decline, cardiovascular disease, this drink helps you maintain your ability to do the things you love. Whether that's gardening, walking the dog, playing with grandkids, or even more adventurous things like traveling or learning new skills, a healthy 85-year-old can do a lot more of those than an unhealthy 65-year-old. Let me share a quick real-life story. Meet Tiko, a woman from Shizuoka, Japan, a region famous for its green tea. At 90 years old, Kiko still tends to her family's tea fields and rides her bicycle to the local market every morning. She's spry and quick-witted. When journalists asked her what her secret was, she laughed and said, "Good green tea, every day, and having something to look forward to." She starts each morning with a cup of freshly brewed green tea and a few stretches. She's been doing that for decades. Kiko is not an anomaly in her town. There are dozens of folks in their 80s and 90s there who remain active, many of whom have lifelong green tea habits. This might sound like a feel-good anecdote, but it's backed up by the broader data we've discussed. Their arteries are cleaner, their bones stronger, their minds sharper, and they credit their lifestyle, of which tea is a cornerstone. Now, you might be wondering, do you have to drink 5 cups a day to get this benefit? Not necessarily. That Japanese study showed benefit even at 3-4 cups a day, some reduction in mortality risk. And other research indicates even 1-2 cups a day is better than none for longevity. The sweet spot appears to be around 3-5 cups daily, which is considered moderate and safe consumption. That amount provides plenty of polyphenols without overloading your system with caffeine. In fact, 3-5 cups of green tea's caffeine is still generally less than 1 cup of coffee's worth of caffeine. Japanese centenarians often sip tea throughout the day rather than all at once. A cup in the morning, 1 with each meal, maybe 1 in the evening, decaf or a lighter roasted tea at night to avoid sleeplessness. If you're new to green tea, start with just 1 cup a day for a week, then gradually increase to 2 or 3. You don't have to chug huge volumes. Their cup sizes are often smaller, about 100 ml per serving in Japanese tea. It's fine to brew the same tea leaves twice. That second brew still has goodies in it, just less caffeine. Many Japanese will do 2-3 infusions from one set of tea leaves over the day. That's a convenient way to spread out the benefit. Advanced tip: turbocharge your longevity drink. The Japanese sometimes add a pinch of turmeric to their tea, or have a turmeric tea called yukancha. Turmeric contains curcumin, which is another anti-aging, anti-inflammatory compound. Okinawans often consume turmeric in tea, and it's thought to complement green tea's effects. Curcumin helps with joint health, liver function, and more. If you like the flavor, you could add a tiny dash of turmeric and black pepper. Pepper helps absorption to a cup of green tea, essentially creating your own little longevity tonic. It's not traditional everywhere, but it is done in Okinawa. Curcumin plus EGCG together attack aging at multiple hallmarks, like DNA protection, anti-inflammatory pathways, etc. This is totally optional, but I mention it for those who want to maximize every cup. Let's not forget, longevity is also about quality of life. Green tea's role in Japanese culture isn't just nutritional, it's meditative and social. Taking the time to brew and enjoy tea forces you to slow down a bit, reducing stress. Chronic stress is aging. It literally frays your DNA over time. By adopting a calming tea ritual, you may lower your cortisol levels and blood pressure through the relaxation it brings. It's a daily mindfulness that can add up to big effects long term. Now, look at the big picture of these 5 benefits working together. You wake up, hydrate and energize with tea. Your bones get stronger, your heart stays cleaner, your brain stays sharp, and all that means you stay independent and active. You're not fighting just one aspect of aging, you're tackling the whole spectrum. That's why I call it a longevity elixir. It's not a single magic bullet, it's more like a magic brew that gently improves a dozen things at once, day by day. Scientists who study centenarians often conclude with a powerful thought: age-related decline is not inevitable. It's often the result of years of habits, and it can be delayed or even reversed with the right targeted approach. The Japanese approach of daily green tea is one of those proven habits. The polyphenols in green tea literally interact with our biology to slow aspects of aging. They help maintain telomeres, the end caps of your DNA that shorten with age. They improve autophagy, your cell's recycling process, and they activate longevity pathways like AMPK and FOXO3. Some research suggests that the isoflavones in the soy foods and the catechins in tea, popular in Japan, activate the FOXO3 longevity gene that is linked to exceptional lifespan. It's like tea tells your body, let's switch on the healthy aging mode. So, the secret drink we've been talking about is Japanese green tea, be it sencha, matcha, or other variety, enjoyed every morning and throughout the day to keep you active well into your golden years. It's simple, it's accessible, and it's backed by both modern science and the lived experience of some of the longest-lived people on Earth. Now, I want to turn it over to you. When was the last time you felt truly youthful and energetic? And can you picture yourself at 85 doing something you love, maybe traveling, dancing, or just playing with grandchildren, all because of a small daily habit you start now? If this one drink could help you get there, will you give it a try? Let me know in the comments which benefit of green tea excites you the most, or if you're already a green tea drinker, how it's impacted your life. Your stories might encourage someone on the fence to take that first small step toward a healthier life. Remember, it's never too late. Whether you're 60 or 75 or beyond, your body can still respond to positive changes. You have more control over your aging than you might think. A simple habit, like a morning cup of Japanese green tea, can set off a chain reaction of health benefits. It's empowering to know that something so humble can make such a big difference. So tomorrow morning, why not boil some water and steep a cup of green tea for yourself? As you take that warm first sip, know that you're not just quenching your thirst, you're nourishing your future. Here's to staying active, sharp, and happy well into your 80s and beyond. Cheers. Or as they say in Japan when toasting with tea, itadakimasu. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy and stay young at heart.